Sorry, my name is Paola Magana. I graduated the high school in 2020, and I took a year off, so now I'm a sophomore at Lehigh University. I'm a finance major and a business information systems minor.
My name is Daniel Fields. I graduated from high school in 2021. I'm a sophomore right now at Morehouse College. I'm a cinema studies major and I'm a minor in sociology.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Moha. I graduated in 2021. I'm a criminal justice major and I go to Studio Young.
Hi, I'm Audrey Mazzo. I graduated in 2021. I'm class of 2025, so I'm a sophomore, and I go to Temple University. My major is advertising with a concentration in media planning and art direction.
Hello, my name is Alex. I go to Concordia University in Montreal. My major is engineering and I graduated in 2022.
Hi, my name is Zaida. I go to Yale University. I graduated in 2022 and I'm majoring in environmental studies.
Hi everyone, my name is Laura. I graduated the high school in 2021, so I'm a sophomore. I go to the George Washington University in DC, and my major is international affairs with a minor in French literature. Hi everyone, I'm Samantha. I graduated from high school in 2021. I am a sophomore at the University of Pennsylvania. I am a double major in biochemistry and neuroscience and a minor in
Hi, my name is Pedro. I graduated in 2022, so I'm a freshman. I go to the College of Westchester and I'm majoring in interactive media.
Hi, I'm Talia. I graduated in 2022. I go to SUNY College. I'm double majored in English and political science. Hi, my name is Wendy. I graduated last year in 2022 and I go to SUNY College with my name is technology.
Okay, awesome. Now we can start with our questions. So our first question is, so three of our panelists can answer, how was the transition from high school to college?
Be honest.
I can also go first. So I think that for me, the transition was not the hardest, but not the easiest. Like, I took a year off because I graduated during the pandemic, so I took a gap year, which honestly was like the best decision of my life. Because then after that, I guess for all of you guys, the pandemic kind of wasn't as bad when I went into school. So everyone's kind of stepping out and like happy to make friends, and classes are either hybrid, like in person and virtual, or fully in person. And I think it was a great transition. The workload is more, but I think everyone knows that going into college. So as long as like you had some idea of what you were gonna do and like just the responsibilities that were gonna happen, it was a pretty nothing crazy transition.
So I do go to school in Canada. Environment-wise, it is quite different. But the truth is that the transition wasn't that hard because rather quickly, this environment like becomes your home more or less. Like you adapt faster than you think you do. You learned a lot over time, and this stuff kind of just kicks in by default. And you kind of just start to blend in with your environment. So regardless of where you go, I think the transition is never that hard.
I agree, the transition wasn't as bad. I think I did procrastinate a lot in high school, so if you do that, it's a tougher transition in college. So definitely start working on getting things done early, study for your tests more than one day before. Like genuinely, it is a tough transition if you leave things for the last minute. So that's my
How's storm life? I think it's pretty funny because, like you said, like there's a lot of things that you learn in college that you will not learn at home. Like where'd the toilet paper go, or where'd the paper towel go? Like you have to buy it. Like you know, it's just like that. Like mom has it in the cabinet on the left. Like it's just like, or toothpaste. Like it's really funny because it's just you learn a lot of life skills easily, and I think it's like a further story you need to have. And college, like that dorm life especially, really gives that to you.
I definitely agree. It's like learning how to maintain your own space. And then also if you have a roommate or you're in a suite, then it's maintaining your space with other people, but then learning how to like deal with people being in your space all the time and learning how to sort of what you need to sort of survive mentally when you like used to having your own space or used to being alone a lot, you have to get used to spending time with people. And on top of that, it's having to get yourself up and get dressed and clean your room and maintain your room and then come back and be like, it's been a long week and now I have to, like you said, buy groceries or buy toilet paper and then clean up. So it's just a lot more, I'd say, upkeep on your own end.
And about the dorm life, I lived my freshman year, I lived on a co-ed floor and I shared a bathroom with like 25 girls, and then there was also a boy bathroom, 25 guys, and like you could just imagine like the noise at night or the noise in the morning. So it's like you have to learn to live with other people, especially your roommate. Luckily, I was best friends with my roommate, but I have friends that hated their roommates because they just whatever reason. So as long as you like find a roommate that you live well with, like I love my roommate, she was my best friend, but she was lazy. She would wake up at like 12 and I'd pass at 8 a.m. So it was just like learning to respect what she wanted, which was like for me to like get ready quietly, but I had to go to class. And then for her to like not be up so late when I had an 8 a.m. the next morning. And just being very like good at communicating your wants early on so that you don't build any bad tension with your roommate.
I don't have a roommate, so that still means the one and only big problem is me. But you know, that's still a lot to handle at times. Stay organized, staying clean is stuff that's like really important. Like you don't realize that people say like your dorm is like a reflection of like your mental state. Like as finals season comes in, my room is a disaster 24/7. And stay organized is super important. And please wash your sheets. I have people that I know that don't wash their sheets. That's disgusting. Wash your sheets.
I think going back to what Paolo was saying, because I also live with a roommate, and I live with suite mates as well, so you're going to be living with strangers, and it's good to set ground rules in the beginning, even though it's awkward. Like literally set up a time for all of you to meet, like in the common room or anywhere, and just talk about what you're comfortable with, so that you get all of your stuff out instead of waiting till when something happens and someone's not comfortable about it, they don't share how that makes them feel, and things get really awkward. So definitely, if no one else is going to set the ground rules, be the one to step up, set the time, set the place, and really have a talk with them. That's really important.
Yeah, I completely agree with Zaida. I think establishing boundaries is really important from the beginning, only because everyone has their own pet peeves and you don't really know these people. So it's very important to make sure that you lay out what's important to you. For me, I have OCD. I need everything clean all the time. And I live with 3 other people. So I have a roommate and then I have suite mates also. And so making sure that you let them know what's important to you. And because this is your living space, you're going to be studying, you're going to be sleeping, you're going to be waking up and be eating there. So it's really important to make sure that all of these things are set for you so that you're comfortable and, you know, at the end of the day, this isn't your high school bedroom. So, you know, you need to make sure that you establish those ground rules. But also, it's really fun. Living in a dorm, you know, you have people all over. It's full of life and, you know, just reach out, like leave your door open, like make friends, you know. It's really important, especially, you know, when you get there.
In my freshman year, unfortunately, did not have a roommate that I liked. I ended up moving in the middle of my freshman year, but that was a decision that I made honestly because your room is like the space that you can close your door, and if you had a terrible day, like you can sit in your room and kind of like reflect on it and recharge for the next day. And so not everybody is going to have a great roommate. And obviously I moved and the experience was so much better. And now this year I live in like suite style living and I love all of my roommates. So if you do have the option to dorm, I would definitely recommend it because it does like keep you at arm's length from like your family and your home life, especially if you are like really struggling to transition into like adulthood and being independent. It's nice to live somewhere by yourself where you're responsible. And also I really thought that when things were getting really hard, it was so nice to just be able to like walk down the hall and all my friends were there and their rooms were all cozy and mine was like such a disaster. And I was able to confide in these people and they're super close, and then when I was done I could go home and go to sleep. So it's a great community.
Now that you have experience in college classes, which class structure do you prefer, college or high school?
I guess I'll go for. I definitely prefer college structure because we give you so much more free time to literally do. You can do whatever you want now, so it's not like about I'm gonna go off and explore the city with my friends. But it could be one day you do that. But it's being able to say I want to go to class at this time, and then you're not a morning person, so you class at like 11 o'clock, and you go class in the afternoon instead now, and then in between that you have time to go out to get food and come back, and you kind of set your own schedule now, so you can build your life how you want to live it.
I think the fun thing about it too is like making your, like what you said, like your own schedule. Literally, it's not like you can take from your major to gen eds to literally like gym class, like at least for at Temple, like you can take like personal defense class, you can take like a weight training class, which I find it really cool, and like it's just again like life skills that you like, if you're interested, you can also use. And yeah, it's just like it's very flexible. Like you don't have to wake up so early in the morning to like, and then unless you want to, but or have to. But it's really nice. It's like very flexible, very like at ease. I don't know. I think college is the perfect schedule.
Also on top of that, you don't have 8 periods a day ever, or classes a day ever, which is really nice. Like most of my classes will be like Monday, Wednesday, and then Tuesday, Thursday. So if you know you have a class, like you could just set up your homework or whatever you have. It's so flexible, like you said, and it's so nice. Like you never have 8 classes in a day ever. The only downside is they're like an hour and a half long, but that's the only difference. But it's still worth it better than having like 8 classes a day.
So though I prefer the college schedule, it is a lot of personal responsibility. It is pretty much entirely on you to do everything you need to do to go to class when you need to go to class, prepare everything on time, and that's just kind of how it is. And for some people that's better, for some people that's worse, but it is something you need to get used to. Like if you skip a class once, it's super easy to just go, I don't need to go again. Because there's no one sitting there telling you you have to go. It's really just you. And if you get good at that, then you'll be all right. But it's something to keep in mind.
Okay, so one of you talked about how your dorm room was like your personal safe space where you're stressed, you go there to, just relax. What are other ways that you guys deal with stress in college?
I think going to college in a city, it's very easy to sort of be stuck on your campus, or even, I feel like college anywhere, but specifically in the city, I guess because I go to college in Philadelphia. It's really easy to stay on campus and not leave at all. And that kind of contributes to stress because you associate like the campus and these buildings with like all of the schoolwork you have to do and all of these responsibilities that are piling up just as you're making the transition into adulthood. So it's really nice to leave your college town or leave your campus and go into the city, or like leave and go into like the main areas and stuff like that. And just like take trips and don't feel guilty about taking that time for yourself. I know my freshman year I like never went into Center City, Philadelphia, because I felt guilty, like I didn't think that I could make the time or could justify the time for myself to go see the Philadelphia Orchestra or like go to the Christmas Village or things like that. But those are really like satisfying things to do. And so anytime that you can make a little bit of time to go explore outside of where you go to school, whether it be the city or just like the areas around you, because you can start associating like the city with like happiness and things like that that distract you, rather than like me associating all of Philadelphia with school, because school's not always the best thing, but you want to make it feel that way.
For me, I feel like the best way I handled stress was being able to romanticize my college life, and like going to cafes to study, listening to music that you enjoy, being in spaces that like make you calm and relax, and also being able, so I commute, so I was able to go back home. I feel like it's also important to take a day for yourself. I do that sometimes, a mental health day. Just stay home and do things that make you happy, or branch out and find outlets where you can express yourself through whether it be a hobby or journaling, or even talk to somebody like a friend or your parents.
For me, personally, I enjoy being stressed. I have to be doing something unless I feel like I'm not doing anything. So even if I'm not doing homework or reviewing notes, I have to do laundry or
myself busy. But to handle stress, I guess I could say like I could like take a walk because Utah's like a really great town. Lots of things to do, so yeah.
I think going off of what Sam was saying about associating campus with school, if you're dorming, it's very often that your room and your home space can blend with the stresses of school, and then they become the same thing. And when that happens, it feels like a whirlwind of stress, and it's you have to try your best to try and separate your dorm, your home, your safe place from class, because it is all in the same place, but you have to separate it so that they don't become one. And one way you can do that is really just, if there's, I don't know, nice lights that you like to use in your room here, you can bring that to school. Whatever you can do to simulate the room that you may have here, or just remind you of home, do that, bring that to school so that you can separate it. And also, for stresses, join things that you love. If you're a singer, join a cappella, or if you like dancing, try and go for a dance group. It doesn't hurt to try and put yourself out there. Everyone's putting themselves out there their first year, so might as well give it a go when you have the chance. And you'll really create such wonderful communities and families within those groups. And they'll be your other safe places to go to when you're stressed. And that's what they're there for. They're there for you to really improve your skills in singing and dancing, but also for you to just go there and de-stress and just let go. So,
Great responses, yeah. So another question is, what were some of your goals entering college, and how do they differ now?
My goal, like, entering college is probably just to maximize my experience. Like, you know, your family's like spend a lot of money for you to go, so you definitely want to like do everything and like be the best you can. So like, I made sure to like try hard on my classes, like join groups I wanted to do, make great friends, like whatever. And now, and like obviously that's all still important, but at the end of the day, your parents want what's best for you, but you also want to do what you like. So I still obviously like try hard in school, but I also make sure like I'm building on the relationships I make with my friends, my teachers. I joined a club that I thought was interesting, even if it's nothing to do with my major. So just definitely like, I guess like I went to college at first for my parents, or not my parents, but my parents wanted me to do well, and then now it's more like I want to do well for myself.
What is something that you wish you knew that would help you prepare for what to expect? Like whether it's dorming or like time management.
I feel like, oh sorry. I feel like college or high school rather didn't teach a lot about study skills and things like that. Also, like sort of answering the previous question, like I went into college wanting to know how to study and it took like 3 semesters to learn how to do that. I didn't expect, I guess, just how much studying I had to do, but also a lot of it is like hours don't like compensate for how much like you're getting out of the studying. I think staying up and like pulling all-nighters is not something that's healthy. It's not something that I would like to do. I go to sleep at 11 and wake up at 8 during finals because if I don't get that much sleep, I cannot study. And so I really did not have any like vision of what my time management would look like. And so I started over-planning my days. Like I would plan by the hour, by the 15 minutes, and if I didn't stick to it, I would get really stressed out because I felt like I wasn't using every hour of the day. Then I would have to stay up later, and then that was just gonna like ruin my entire week. So I think that learning to study, but also in ways that like are actually helpful, because reading the textbook all the way through and taking 6 hours to do that can't honestly help anybody. It's all about like what you do, and so I realized that like taking practice tests over and over and rewriting them and writing like little steps for myself was what helped, but it just took a long time, which made like the first year like not really my favorite, but I think this past semester was a lot better because I finally realized that it's like the quality over the quantity of study.
I think
So something that was like super important I realized was like high school is this really specific structure that we all spend a lot of time complaining about. Why do I have a test every 2 weeks? Why do I have nightly homework? But then once like I realized all that was gone, is the reason all that stuff was there is that it keeps you working every night. It keeps you keeping up. Like every time I learn a new subject, I need to review it so I don't have to pile it, so it doesn't pile up all at the end. And when there's nothing there, like for me, all there was like maybe one assignment every week or two, and then my midterm was my only test for most of my classes, and my final was the only other test. And in between there, you feel like, oh, I have nothing to do, I'm doing well, I feel confident, and then once you get to these midterms, these big tests, you feel like it's all piling up. So it's really important to like adapt the structure and work a little bit every day, every week, every new subject, and really stay on top of what you're learning.
I think something I wish I knew was that it's a process and you're not always going to get it right away. For me, it took me also 2 semesters to actually like kind of find my groove academically. It's not as easy as I mean, obviously you may not think it's easy, but going into it, I kind of thought, oh, like maybe I'm not ready for this. Like maybe this isn't for me because I wasn't doing as well as I was doing in high school. And I think you're not going to do as well as you do in high school only because it's so different and everything is different. Your time management, just in general the classes, and also what was said before about how there's not tests to keep you in check every few weeks. Sometimes it's just a final, sometimes it's just a midterm. So I think it's just that you need to be patient with yourself and just trust yourself and that you're going to get it eventually. And you know, everything comes in time. You know, you just have to learn to find your groove.
Okay, so now we're going to transition to the audience. If you guys want to add more questions, you can ask.
Say hand over.
So, I'm a previous student so what you said was, and I want to make this for myself to understand, what you're saying is that high school has a more rigid structure compared to college where it's more loose and more favorable to students. Is that correct?
Like this helps for more of my classes. I feel like in the high school, like your homeworks and your projects or whatever count for a big proportion of your grade. But for me, it's like I have like 2 exams and that's my whole grade. So like the exams like mean so like and 10% is like attendance and homework. But like 30% of your grade will be 1 exam. So like that's why like, I think it's a big thing is like you have to take so much time and really like take the first semester to adapt to how you're gonna study. Because the exams, there's no homeworks to keep you in check or to rely on. It's like those 2-3 exams that make most of your grade.
Also, I feel like with high school, like you're given a routine. You come at 7, you enter, you have 8 classes. A lot of times you have a test like every other Friday or something like that. But the structure of college, I feel like you make your routine a lot of times. And like you said, it's also like really loosely based. And it's your responsibility at the end of the day. Like a lot of people said before.
So do we have any more questions from the audience? No? Mr. Orrego?
Yeah. So you have a lot more freedom in college. Obviously, it's a double-edged sword. There's a lot of distractions, a lot more opportunities to veer off the track. What is some advice that maybe you learned or you have maybe developed to keep you on the path, right? Because there's a lot of temptation in college, right? So what is the advice that you have used yourself that you can share with us that could just be a reminder to us or as a way, as a mechanism to just stay on the path that you are, you obviously are pursuing?
For me, I remember it was like Halloween weekend, and like that's the weekend where everyone's going out. And then I had one professor who like assigned like an 8-page paper to do that Sunday. So what I did, I spent that entire Friday night in my dorm, like working on that paper. And I actually didn't go out that entire weekend because I was working on that one paper. So like you have to pick and choose when to go out and like when to like stay in your dorm and study, because at the end of the day for me, I feel like an A is better than actually like hanging out with your friends, because A just feels better than earning it. So you have to know like when to work and like when to go out and socialize.
I agree with Talia. In college, people are going to be going out 3-4 nights a week. It's not just Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Like, people go out Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's insane. But you have to prioritize your work. Because at the end of the day, you're going to be receiving that grade and no one else will. Yeah, your roommate might say, hey, want to go out tonight? Want to go to the frat? You have to prioritize a paper that's due tomorrow. Like Talia said, I had a paper due on Halloween night. I didn't go out. I had to finish that paper. You have to prioritize because it's your life and it's your future that you have in your hands, and you're the only one that can control it. So you'll be able to party after. Just get what needs to get done. Like, just get done.
So I think something a lot of people don't think about, because in high school it feels obscure at times, like, why am I doing all this in high school? In high school they tell you, oh, you're doing all this so you get to college, so that after that you can get a job. But then once you're in college, you can actually think big picture. You can think like, it's important to focus on why you're doing it, why you're studying, why you're getting good grades, why do you want good grades? Because it's like, if you don't want that degree, then there's going to be very little keeping you in line. But if you really want that degree and you keep that in mind as to what you're working towards the whole time, it's a lot easier to really put yourself together, even when it's like super difficult or feels impossible a lot of the time.
So Alex, to jump on that, so would you say that as soon as you hit college, and this is to anybody, as soon as you hit college, you're already thinking about your careers, like it's not so far away anymore because you're talking about 4 years, maybe 6 years or 5 years?
I would say it's easier. It's not like the second I got to college, I'm like, now I'm working for my job, for my degree. Like at times it still feels like you don't really know why you're doing all of it. But at least it's like, you know it's there. At the end of these 4 years, you're going to get that piece of paper that's going to give you whatever statistic that helps you get a job. Like, there's some actual meaning behind what you're doing. I think it's easier to grasp, but it may not be, that it doesn't like come naturally, I think. You do need to think about it.
You do need to think about it, but there's going to be a lot of people that will say they know exactly what they want to do, exactly what they want to be, but no one has to know their first year. A lot of you will probably face imposter syndrome and think that, maybe you don't belong in whatever school you go to because you compare yourself to other kids who, been on TED Talks or have done such amazing accomplishments, but you have to remind yourself that you got into that school for a reason. And you don't have to know what you want to do your freshman year or your sophomore year. As long as you do the thing that you love to do, as long as you're passionate about it. And like Alex said, but you also have to think about the future too, because you have a buffer from high school to whatever job you have after college. But when you're in college, you're on the precipice of adulthood, so you really need to think about it. But you don't have to know for sure in your first couple of years.
I think the main thing about it too is baby steps, and also networking. Like, maybe you don't know what the end goal will be. Maybe you'll change your major 500 different times, but at least you made a connection with a professor or with somebody that works in the office, in the administration, with your advisor. However, it's the connection you make that will get you to your next step, or where you essentially want to be. So networking is the way to go. Say hi, introduce yourself, don't be afraid to give your resume to somebody, it's just baby steps,
Just jump.
Can you expand on that? A lot of students, come in and say, I don't know what to apply for, what school to apply for, what major, and some students are scared to apply just liberal arts, just undecided. Can you expand? I know you all chose a major, but can you kind of go over how it's okay to be undecided for a year or two, or how easy it is to change a major?
Yeah, for my school at least, I'm in the business school, but you're not allowed to take any majors until the second semester, this upcoming semester. So right now, I'm saying I'm a finance major, but after this semester, who knows, I can switch to marketing or accounting or any other business aspect. And I feel like along the other like different areas, like for psychology, you could take all the intro levels where you're not in specific field of psychology yet. So I definitely think like as long as you have a generic idea, you could always, you're gonna take your core levels still, and it's gonna give you some interest, but you're gonna see which one that you lean more towards. And going off of that, my roommate was a psych major to begin with, and then she switched, now she's an anthropology major. Like you completely switch school, or switch to the business school, like things like that happen. So it's okay to switch.
Awesome. Thank you. Give it up for the amazing alumni. Thank you to our moderators.